Hi to all. I'm Bhuneshwari from Hindustan College of Engineering and Technology. So today we are going to talk about forms of business. There are 5 different forms in the business. So in that two we are going to see today in this class. So before starting the business, one has to take an important decision relates to the choice of the forms of the business organization. There are various forms available for taking up the business. They are sole proprietorship, joint into family business, partnership, cooperative societies, and joint stock company. So each of these forms has its own advantages and disadvantages, and each of it is different from its existence and from its the way it runs a business, the way it takes up the procedures. So first, we'll go with the sole proprietorship. So as the name suggests, everything is owned by one single man. So that is what you call it as sole proprietorship. So a sole trader is a type of business unit where a person is solely responsible for providing the capital, for bearing the risk of the enterprise, and for the management of business. According to JL this is the definition by J.L. Hansen. According to J.L.H. Haney, the individual proprietorship is the form of business organization at the head of which stands an individual as one who is responsible, who directs its operation, and who alone runs the risk of the failure. So, as we discussed, this the name soul makes a difference here. That is, one person takes all the risk and everything. So that is what you mean by sole proprietorship. And it is a popular form of business organization and is the most suitable form for all businesses, especially in their initial years of operation. It refers to the forms of business organization which is owned, managed, controlled by an individual who is the recipient of all profits and bearer of all risks. So this is evident from the term itself, the word soul. As we discussed earlier, the word soul implies only and proprietor refers to the owner. Hence, the sole proprietorship is one who becomes the sole owner of a business. And when we talk about the features and characteristics of this, so there are 5 different features with it, and in that the first one is formation and closure. So formation and closure is very easy in sole proprietorship. So there is no legal boundaries. So whenever you want to start, whenever you want to close the business, you can do it. So no way it is registered with the company, no way it is registered with the company's act, no legal bindings are there. Since it is owned by one single individual, so the formation closure becomes easy. And when we talk about the liability, it has got unlimited liability. So one thing we have to understand here is everything, whether the profit, loss, everything is bared by one single person. So by that way, his own family assets, everything will be in risk with regard to the liability. And third of characteristics is sole risk bearer and profit recipient. So he is the sole risk bearer and he is the profit recipient. So he need not to share the profit with anybody. He earns his own profit. The same way, if the loss comes also, he is only the bearer of that. And control. So it is his own business. So however he wanted to control, that he can do. By that way, he can make quick decisions also. No separate entity. So when we talk about this corporate companies and all, so you have a separate entity, like company is different, the person is different. So like that, here nothing is there. So he is purely related with the company. So he is everything for the company. So by that way, he has got no separate entity to it, right? That is, both business and sole proprietors identified as one. And lack of business continuity. So why the lack of business continuity comes is, with this insolvency or death, the business cannot go on. So again, you'll have to start, again, you'll have to close it, and again, you have to start. And again, there is no such legal binding. So for that purpose, so however, whatever it happens, sometimes it is not necessarily be, the continuity may not be there, but whatever he has earned could be taken any kind of decision, whether he can close the business, whether he can continue the business. But there is no there is no firmness that the business has to go on. But when you talk about the corporate companies, so whoever goes, men may go and men may come, the business will exist. So like that only the corporate companies are, and that facility is not there in your sole proprietorship. And there are certain merits with it, right? So when we talk about the merits, as we discussed earlier, he is a sole owner with it. By that way, he can make quick decision making. He need not depend on anybody. He need not go with any affiliation or approval. And by that way, he can make very quick decisions. And confidentiality of the information. So he is the owner of the company. He has got he can keep his own secrets, and he need not share it with anybody. So like your corporate companies, the publication of P&L accounts, the publication of balance sheet, the publication of final accounts is not necessary with this sole proprietorship. And he gets a direct incentive. He need not bear with anybody. So he is the sole owner. He will get the direct incentive with it. And he has got a sense of accomplishment. That is a kind of personal pride is there with it, because he is the single owner. He comes with everything. So by that way, he gets a personal pride to it. And the same way as we discussed earlier, it is ease of formation and closure. When we talk about the limitations, so the limitations are limited resources. Say you want to expand the company, you want to go for new ventures, everything you'll have to bear. So one single person cannot bear anything. You need not get other partners are not there, other shareholders are not there. So whatever you wanted to do, you have to do it by yourself. So by that way, the resources are limited here. And it is limited life of a business concern. For a long time, sometimes it may not go, because due to the various trends and due to the various things it has to adjust, sometimes the company may not go for it. Okay. And unlimited liability sometimes make the person insolvent. Maybe if he has taken a wrong decision, by that way, if he faces losses, totally it becomes a liability to him. By that way, the business can also be closed. And limited managerial ability. That is, everything is borne by you. You are the one person with it. So by that way, you won't have multifaceted abilities. So by that way, it becomes a limited managerial ability of this thing. So these are all the various advantages and disadvantages. But even then, it goes as a business form in. Right. And next is joint into family business. So this is a specific form of business organization found only in India. So that is the sole criterion of this. So it is one of the oldest forms of business organization in the country. So with regard to Indian values, this kind of business still exists in India. It refers to a form of organization wherein the business is owned and carried on by members of the Hindu undivided family. So the family should be united here. So that is one basic expectation of this business. So it is governed by the Hindu law. The basis of membership in the business is birth in a particular family, and 3 successive generations can be the members of the business. So the virtue of birth, you get this advantage, and successively 3 generations you can run the business. So this kind of business is controlled by the head of the family, who is the eldest member and called as a Karta. That is who runs the business, who created the business. So that person controls the business, and he is termed as Karta here. Right. All members have equal ownership right over the property of an ancestor, and they are called as parsinas, that is joint ownerships. They were called as parsinas, that is joint ownership members. Okay. So when you talk about the features, the formation, since it comes into the legal bounding, it is governed by the Hindu Succession Act 1956, right? According to that, there should be at least 2 members in the family and ancestral property to be inherited by them. So this condition they have to go with, then only they can be the members of joint Hindu family. So the business does not require any agreement, as membership is by birth. So there is no agreement. Since it is by birth, the agreement is there is no membership in. And when we talk about the liability of all members except the Karta is limited to their share of the co-personary property. That is joint family member. Co-personary property of the business, the Karta has unlimited liability. However, he has got as unlimited liability in. So the control of the family business lies with the Karta, and he takes all decisions and authorized to go with the business. So his decisions are binding on others. His decision is said to be final here. Right. And when we talk about the other feature, continuity. So the business continues even after the death of the Karta, as the next eldest member take up the position of Karta, leaving the business stable. So the business can, however, be terminated with the mutual consent of the members. So minor members. The inclusion of individual into the business occurs due to birth in a Hindu undivided family. Hence, the minors can also be the members of the business because he gets the virtue by birth. And according to the Hindu Succession Act 2005, the daughter of the co-partner of a joint Hindu family shall by birth become a co-partner. So why it is called as 2005 is before that this provision was not there. So at the time of participation of such joint Hindu family, the co-partnerary property shall be equally divided to all the co-partners irrespective of their gender, male or female. So the eldest member, male or female of joint family, shall become the Karta. So married, divorced and equal married daughters also have equal rights in the property of a joint family. So merits are effective control by Karta. So the Karta gives the effective control to it, and he continues the business. It continues the business existence, limited liability of our members, increased by loyalty and cooperation. So these are all the basic merits of your joint Hindu family. And when we talk about the limitations, limited resources, unlimited liability of Karta, because Karta alone has got the unlimited liability, dominance of Karta, limited managerial skills, because it's within the family, so limited membership, right? So with this, we have completed the session. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you.